Hello students, welcome to yet another virtual science class. Let us continue with lesson 1 Nutrition in Plants Unit 2. Before that, I hope you are all thorough with these concepts that we had learned in the last class. These are the remaining topics that we will be covering in this unit. We are now aware that during photosynthesis, plants prepare the most important product, that is food. This food is prepared for the plant's individual needs. In most cases, the plants prepare food in the simplest form, that is glucose. If you see its structure on the right, you will notice it is made up of three elements: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. This glucose is utilized by the plant for its growth, repair, and metabolism. However, the plant may also produce some excess amount of food that can be stored in different forms. The first one is starch, which is formed when several glucose molecules join together. It also contains carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. It is found in the stem of potato and onion, and also in roots of carrot and radish. The second one is oil, which is found in oil seeds like mustard, groundnuts, almonds, etc. Oil is also made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but in different numbers and arrangement. The third one is proteins, which include nitrogen along with carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Nitrogen is added in the form of nitrates by a specialized process called nitrogen fixation cycle, which you will be learning in higher classes. Food can also be stored in the form of vitamins. As we have already learned about autotrophs in the previous unit, we will now move on to heterotrophs. Heterotroph is a term made up of two words, that is, hetero, which means others or different, and trophs, which means food. Therefore, heterotrophic mode of nutrition is wherein organisms depend on other organisms directly or indirectly for food. Such organisms are called heterotrophs. These organisms cannot make their own food because they do not have food-making pigment chlorophyll. However, some plants have chlorophyll but depend on others for additional nutrition. You must keep in mind that it is not necessary for all plants to make their own food. In this lesson, we will see how some plants depend on green plants for their food supply by these given modes. The first mode of heterotrophic nutrition is parasitic mode. Here you will see that one plant obtains food from the other living green plant. The plant that prepares food is called as the host, and the plant that feeds on the other is called as the parasite. The parasite gains from the host without causing any damage. Example: Rafflesia, known for its largest and heaviest flower found in the forests of Malaysia, is a parasite. The yellow climber Cuscuta in the second and third picture is also an example of parasite that grows on green plants by developing deep roots into the stem of its host. Mistletoe is also a parasite, however partial. The second mode is a very interesting one where plants obtain nutrition from insects. They do so by modifying their leaf structure in order to trap the insects. They adapt to this mode as the soil in which they grow does not contain nitrogen or enough nitrogen in it. Example: pitcher plant, named due to its pitcher or jug shape with a lid; sundew plant with sticky structures; and Venus flytrap with claw-like structures have structures to trap the insect. The third mode is saprophytic, wherein plants obtain food from dead and decayed matter. They are also called saprophytes or saprotrophs. They produce digestive juices that convert the dead remains into simple liquid that can be absorbed by saprophytes. Example: fungus. In the previous three modes, you must have noticed that one member of the relationship contributed and the other one gained all the benefits. However, in the fourth mode, you will notice that both members contribute to the relationship and benefit equally. This is called as a symbiotic mode of nutrition, and the organisms are called as symbionts. There are four excellent examples. The first one is a relationship between ruminants like cows and bacteria. Cows feed on grass that contain a tough carbohydrate called cellulose, which cannot be digested by the animal. This help is provided by bacteria present in the intestine of cows. In return for this favor, the animal provides shelter and nourishment to the bacteria. You must have seen such spots on tree trunks and rocks. This is a colony of lichens which is formed by algae and fungi. Algae, being autotrophic, prepare food, and fungus provides the colony with shelter and water, thereby each member helping out the other. The third example is of a combination of fungus with the roots of plant making a colony called mycorrhiza. Myco means fungus and rhiza means the roots of a plant. The fungus helps in absorbing water and minerals for the plant, and the plant in return helps by giving food to the fungus. The fourth example is of a relationship between a specific plant group called leguminous plants and a specific bacteria called rhizobium. When you observe the root of a leguminous plant like a pea plant or bean plant, you will notice swollen structures in its root as given in the first picture. When you cut these structures and observe them under microscope, you will notice several cells of rhizobium bacteria. These bacteria help in absorbing nitrogen from atmosphere which cannot be used otherwise even though it is the most abundant gas. Nitrogen is fixed in the plants as nitrates and converted into proteins, making these plants rich in proteins. In return, the plant provides the bacteria with food and shelter. With continuous farming, the soil might lose its nutrient content, thereby reducing its fertility. There are three main elements that are required to improve soil quality and plant health. They are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, that is NPK. There are two ways of replenishing or recycling these elements. We can add chemical fertilizers, but these may have adverse effects on environment. So, we can choose a safer method of improving soil quality, that is by growing leguminous plants that develop rhizobium bacteria and help in fixing nitrogen in the soil. This brings us to the end of Unit 2. Please go through the mind map. Please get thorough with the concepts learned so far and then evaluate your learning by answering these questions. Until then, take care. See you in the next class.